Welcome to the Southern Idaho Fishing Report. Whether you are planning just a couple of hours or a full weekend of fishing, this is your one-stop place for all the information you need to plan your trip. It's all right here, from weather forecasts and reservoir levels to the latest stocking reports and expert advice. And now, the host of the Southern Idaho Fishing Report, Jeff Cullers.
Happy Labor Day weekend, everybody. Glad to be back with you once again. I am Jeff Cullers, and this is the Southern Idaho Fishing Report for the weekend of September 3rd, 2021. Joining us as he does each and every week is Jordan Rodriguez from Tightlines 208. I've got your regional updates, your reservoir level and boat ramp information. Not looking really good, but there are still some places you can get out there. So thanks for joining us. Sit back and relax. It is the Southern Idaho Fishing Report. Kicking it off as we do each and every week over in the Magic Valley. Sunset will be around 8:08 p.m. this weekend. Friday the 3rd, 75 degrees for the high, 47 degrees for the low, sunny all day, no chance of rain. That's all weekend long. There's a north-northwest, 12-mile-an-hour wind. Saturday the 4th, 83 degrees for your high, 55 degrees for the low, sunny all day. A northeast 11-mile-an-hour wind. Sunday the 5th, 88 degrees for your high, 56 degrees for the low, sunny. A west-northwest 12-mile-an-hour wind. Monday the 6th, Labor Day, 89 degrees for your high, 56 degrees for your low, mostly sunny with a west-northwest 11-mile-an-hour wind. Your reservoir level and boat ramp information for the Magic Valley. American Falls is currently sitting at 12% full with an elevation of 4316, and only the west side boat ramp is open, but barely. Lake Walcott, 94% full with an elevation of 4245. The boat ramp is open. Littlewood, forget about it. 0% full with an elevation of 5130. The boat ramp is closed. Ryrie is at 58% full with an elevation of 5087. Blacktail and Juniper boat ramps are open. The only stocking report I have for you for the entire Southern Idaho region of any significance is Gavers Lagoon, 950. There are no fishing tournaments in the Magic Valley. Once again, joining us, fishing columnist, owner and creator of Tightlines 208, is the one, the only Jordan Rodriguez. Jordan, how are you doing tonight?
I'm doing great, Jeff. Thanks for having me on.
It's always a pleasure, and we always look forward to what you have for us. So what is that Tightlines 208 hot tip of the week?
Well, Jeff, this week I wanted to talk a little bit about line, fishing line. I get a lot of questions about. It's something that people have some misunderstandings, I think, at times over what kinds of line they ought to be using. So I just want to spend a few minutes going through kind of the pros and cons of the three different kinds. I would say the three primary types of line for any kind of spin or, regular tackle fishing.
Okay.
And those being, of course, monofilament is the most popular one. So we'll start there. Monofilament is what's going to come spooled on a lot of, reels and combos that you might buy in the store. First hot tip is, if that does happen, take it off, because that line's been on there for we don't know how long, and it's usually not in very good shape. So take that off, get some fresh line on there. That's the first thing, because the nice thing about mono is it's very versatile. It's neutral in the water, so it neither floats nor sinks. So that means we can use it for a wide variety of presentations. If the lure is meant to be a subsurface lure or a sinking lure, or you're trying to put bait on the bottom, all of those things can be accomplished, just using the proper weights or just the lures themselves. And it can also run topwater stuff. So if you just have like one fishing rod or just a couple fishing rods that you kind of use for everything, mono is great in that regard.
Okay.
The downside of mono is it has a lot of memory, and that is what causes it to be very curly and cause problems inside your reel, whether that's, a bait caster, a spin caster with the push button, or a spinning reel. And with the curl, it likes to jump off that spinning reel and get behind, and everyone's had that experience, and it's a big huge mess. The biggest tip for that is just to not overfill your reels, especially with those spinning reels, because too much line on there is oftentimes what's causing it to want to jump off and do that. And if it's curly, that means it's been on there too long. It's too stale. It needs to be changed out. So if you're someone who's fishing a lot, I would recommend changing your line at least once per season. And if you're fishing, very often, you might even do it 2 or 3 times over the course of a year. So one hack that I have kind of used, and it was shown to me by a professional angler, and I've kind of adopted it myself, is I spool most of my reel with braided line, which is usually smaller, stronger, and it has none of that memory. It doesn't get curly at all.
Okay.
So I spool about 2/3 of my line with that, and then I will attach a monofilament leader. And so I'm kind of getting the best of both worlds, because we'll talk a little bit more about braid here in a second. So that closes the book on mono. Braid, as I just mentioned, has no stretch, is very strong, and has a smaller diameter as compared to the monofilament. The downside of braid is it's kind of a pain to work with, to tie your knots and to tie your lures and things on. So the way to get around that is to use the mono leader. Also, if you're just using braid, and there are some applications, especially with bass anglers, using topwater frogs and other things that are fished in heavy cover, where they're just tying onto the braid, you do need to learn some different knots because the traditional knots won't hold on the braided line. And then the third and final is, one final note on the braid there, it does float. So it's not ideal for some of the deeper running things, although obviously if you're using heavy lures and weights and things, it's not going to continue to float. Those lures will go down, but in a neutral setting, braided line floats. The third one is fluorocarbon, and fluorocarbon kind of looks and feels and in a lot of ways performs the same as monofilament. It is considered to be a stronger line than monofilament, and it does sink. So that's the biggest thing, is some people buy fluorocarbon thinking that it's mono because it looks the same, but you won't get very good action on baits that are meant to be floating baits, topwater baits, or suspending baits, because the natural tendency of that fluoro is to sink. And so it's something that's used a lot for like bass anglers flipping and pitching, fishing jigs and bottom bouncing things. Anything that's meant to be fished close to the bottom is usually the best application for fluorocarbon. And you can do the same thing on your bait casting rods, especially is to run a lot of braid and then use the fluoro as a sinking or as a leader. But you'd want to make sure that that's something like on my flipping and pitching rods, that's the type of, instead of using the braid with the mono, I would be using the braid with the fluoro. So that's kind of a lot of information. I do understand that, but I think it's good to get that out and get that in people's hands and in their minds of what it is that they're buying. And it's something I talk about a lot in my classes, depending on, what class, what the target species is. We talk about what ideal line in terms of size and type and all of those things. So it's one of those items that's kind of easy to just grab what's in the bargain bin and throw it on your stuff and call it good. But depending on how serious you are, depending on what kinds of fishing you're doing, it may not be the best tool for the job.
Yeah, you talk about that memory. I ran into that issue a couple weekends ago, did a little stream fishing, and I grabbed my rod, my favorite rod, but I had just been trolling with it. And I ended up with the biggest mess, and it was so frustrating that I ended up just going back to the truck and saying the heck with it, because it just kept coming right off that reel. So that's great information, and didn't even think about that. So absolutely, yeah, I agree. And I do think that people, like when they look at line, they go for whatever that cheapest is. So, and I'm sure there can be a whole nother segment on what brand and who makes the best of what. So, well, Jordan, we appreciate it. You mentioned your class. You got a class coming up, I believe, in September.
I do. Yes. September 21st. It's a brand new class. It's our first time offering it. It's called Chasing Monsters. And so there'll definitely be some discussion on line and different needs for what line you might use, because we're talking about big species in this class, tiger muskies, Mackinaw trout, flathead catfish, along with the best places and methods for catching your trophy class fish of maybe your more common species like a largemouth bass, a smallmouth bass, or a rainbow trout. So if big fish are your thing, or if you'd like to make them your thing, it is, a more difficult thing to go out and catch the big one. But that is the focus of this class, and I'm really looking forward to sharing it with people for the first time.
And how do they sign up, Jordan?
The website is tightlines208.com. We still have seats available. It's on September 21st, and all my contact information, everything else you need to know is there as well at tightlines208.com.
Awesome. Well, Jordan, we thank you for joining us. Again, anglers, that is Jordan Rodriguez, fishing columnist, owner and creator of Tightlines 208. He joins us each and every week with his hot tip of the week. Jordan, I appreciate you and have a great weekend.
You too, Jeff. Thanks.
All right. Thank you. Let's look at that Treasure Valley forecast. Starting in Mountain Home, sunset will be around 8:13 p.m. On Friday, 82 degrees for the high, 48 degrees for the low, sunny all day. No chance of rain all weekend long in the Treasure Valley. There will be a northwest 12-mile-an-hour wind. Saturday the 4th, 89 degrees for your high, 54 degrees for the low, sunny with an easterly 9-mile-an-hour wind. Sunday the 5th, 94 degrees for your high, 54 degrees for your low, sunny all day with an east-southeast 8-mile-an-hour wind. And finally on Labor Day over in Mountain Home area, 94 degrees for your high, 56 degrees for your low, mostly sunny with a north-northwest 11-mile-an-hour wind. A little closer to Boise, the sunset will be around 8:15 this weekend. Friday, 82 degrees for your high, 55 degrees for your low, sunny all day, a northwest 8-mile-an-hour wind. Saturday, 90 degrees for your high, 59 degrees for the low, sunny all day with a southerly 6-mile-an-hour wind. Sunday the 5th, 94 degrees for the high, 58 degrees for the low. Again, sunny all day with a southwest 6-mile-an-hour wind. Monday, Labor Day, 94 degrees for the high, 61 degrees for the low. Mostly sunny, no chance of rain, with a west-northwest 8-mile-an-hour wind. Your reservoir level and boat ramp information for the Treasure Valley. Anderson Ranch is currently at 38% full with an elevation of 4127. All boat ramps are open except Deer Creek, Pine, and Fall Creek. Arrow Rock is at 22% full with an elevation of 3118. The high ramp is open, but that's questionable. The low ramp is accessible. Lucky Peak is down to 24% full with an elevation of 2960. No boat ramp information there. There's still only 2 that are left open. The only way into Lucky Peak is Turner Gulch and Spring Shore's main ramp. Lake Lowell is down to 48% full with an elevation of 2521. All ramps are still currently open. There are no major stocking or fishing tournaments to report in the Treasure Valley for this Labor Day weekend. Make sure you visit us at southernidaho.fishing.com. Here you can find the links to all the information we provide you here. You can also contact us through the site. All right, let's head up to Cascade area. Sunset this weekend will be around 8:16 p.m. Friday, high will be 75 degrees, 39 degrees for your low, sunny all day. No chance of rain. There will be a westerly 6-mile-an-hour wind. Saturday, September the 4th, 81 degrees for the high, 44 degrees for the low, mostly sunny all day. There is a 1% chance of rain and a southerly 7-mile-an-hour wind. Sunday the 5th, 85 degrees for your high, 47 degrees for the low, sunny all day, no chance of rain, south-southwest 9-mile-an-hour wind. Monday the 6th, 85 degrees for your high, 49 degrees for the low. Sunny all day, no chance of rain with a southwest 8-mile-an-hour wind. Reservoir level and boat ramp information for the Cascade area is as follows. Cascade is currently sitting at 55% full with an elevation of 4817. All ramps are open except French Creek, Buttercup, Boulder Creek, and Sisra. No change there. Deadwood is down to 37% full with an elevation of 5298. Cozy Cove ramp is barely open. Man Creek 11% full with an elevation of 2844. The south ramp is closed, but the north ramp is open. Make sure you check out some pictures. I went by there and took some pictures of that. It is really, really low. I saw some jet skis there, no boats, so probably not much chance of getting into Man Creek Reservoir. Again, no stocking or fishing tournaments in any of the southern Idaho area this weekend. Hey, you want to be part of the show? Email us with questions or your fishing report from your last trip. You can email us at southernidaho.fr@gmail.com or send us a picture of that catch at myfish@southernidaho.fishing.com. Another way to be part of the show, ask some questions. Send viewer questions to questions@southernidaho.fishing.com. All right, let's look at the Snake River Reservoir area. Sunset will be around 8:19 Mountain Time this weekend. Friday, 86 degrees for the high, 53 degrees for the low, sunny all day, 0% chance of rain with a southwest 5-mile-an-hour wind. Saturday the 4th, 91 degrees for the high, 57 degrees for the low, mostly sunny. No chance of rain with a southwest 7-mile-an-hour wind. Sunday the 5th, 95 degrees for the high, 57 degrees for your low, sunny all day. No chance of rain. Southwest 7-mile-an-hour wind. Monday the 6th, 95 degrees for your high, 61 degrees for the low, sunny all day. There is a 1% chance of rain in the Snake River Reservoir area that day with a west-southwest 6-mile-an-hour wind. Reservoir level and boat ramp information. Brownlee, 28 feet from full with an elevation of 2049. All ramps are open except Spring Recreation and Steck Park. No stocking or fishing tournaments to report. You can find us on Facebook groups or you can follow us on Twitter at Idaho_report. Let's look at those moon phases for Labor Day weekend. The new moon will be rolling around on Monday, September the 6th. First quarter will be September the 13th. Perigee will be September the 11th. Apogee is September the 26th. Just a quick reminder, perigee is when the moon is closest to the Earth. Apogee is when the moon is furthest away from the Earth. We're heading into the new moon, and fishing will get better as the weekend progresses. Friday, to me, looks pretty weak with peak times around noon and 6. Saturday and Sunday are a little bit better with peak times shortly after noon and 7. Monday, my friends, in my opinion, will be your best day this holiday weekend. Your best times between 12 a.m. and 4 a.m. overnight, and again, noon to 4 p.m. in the afternoon. Evening peak times on Monday will be between 7 and 10. Good windows on Monday. It extends into the week as well. I'll talk about that in just a minute. Well, it is time for my grade, anglers. Pretty good weekend. You know, you've got an extra day to do some fishing this week. The weather looks outstanding. It's going to be just some great temperatures. I guess if it's going to be kind of this graduating grade because of the lunar phases, I would say it's going to be a B+ early in the weekend, Friday and Saturday. As this weekend progresses, it's going to get into an A late Sunday, and then especially Monday. I would say Monday's going to be a great day. Your fishing looks really good Monday, and then even into next Friday. As I kind of look in advance into this all the way through that week. So if you got some afternoon time to get out and do some fishing into the week, I definitely say you want to do that, especially if you want to avoid those crowded waters over the holiday. So just be patient and hang out until next week. Well, that is going to put a wrap on this week's show. I want to thank you, anglers and listeners, for coming in each and every week. You're making the show more and more popular, getting more downloads, getting more YouTube subscriptions and views. Thank you for that. Thanks to Jordan Rodriguez from Tightlines 208 for joining us, and I'll see you on the water. We would like to thank you for listening to the Southern Idaho Fishing Report, and would like to remind you to visit our website, southernidaho.fishing.com, or find us on Facebook or on Twitter. Thanks to our guests and experts, as well as you, our listener, for making the show possible. This has been an Old Man Studios production. Join us next week for another episode of the Southern Idaho Fishing Report.